G4 Studios, Scotland. All into it's time for the third podcast.
I'm sold on the fucking mushroom thing, like 100% sold, 100%. I went up to that Bangor yesterday. I took the dogs a walk up there, but they're smashing all the houses down. There's a wee bit we can still camp, Greg, if you're not too afraid.
A mental institute. Get to fuck. There's no hope, mate.
Never saw one other person up there too.
Apart from the ghost.
Never. Nah, it was the daytime I went. It was the daytime. No action. That bit's still there. The overgrown path and that's still there. So we'll get up there. We'll get up.
My mate Billy's what going on.
I bring him.
That sounds a bit sexual. My mate Willie's.
No, Billy. Big Billy.
Billy, I thought you said Willie.
No,
my mate
Billy.
Willie's want to see some.
Shout out to Big Billy Bergos.
Billy Bergos? Does he have a Bergos?
I just call him that because he's always up and down the fucking mountains like a mountain goat.
Does he mushroom?
Oh, aye, Billy likes a mushroom.
Mate, see the amount of like hill walking guys who it's like they audit. I don't know what's going on. But why is it like
just being out in nature? Being in nature.
There was a mad lassie at my work on Friday or Saturday night working on the cash desk, and she's talking about how she goes out picking wild mushrooms and that, and this is like all her spare time is spent picking these wild mushrooms.
Is it wild mushrooms with hallucinogenic properties? That's
what she's looking for. She had some quite, even by my standards, some quite extreme views. Like, I was not even going to fucking.
After this fight, I'm definitely going to look at. I'll hit up Dan Hardy and.
Are you going full ayahuasca?
Peru, mate. I think I'm going to do it properly.
Darkest Peru. Aye.
I think I'm going to see some shit. I've got demons.
Aye.
We all got demons.
So many people messaging about like, didn't be scared. I'm like, well, I fucking am, mate.
See the community of guys that have got on the podcast and people who listen to it and send us stuff and send us like proper information. Fucking brilliant, man.
Community is a great word, actually. It is almost turning, well, not almost, it has became that, That there's people who I speak to all the time, just talking about podcasting. I've never met them. Like, I dare say if I walk past them in the street, I might not recognise them, but they're like, I don't know, just so many interesting people met through this. It's like, even they're just like talking to Nico Carrillo.
Right.
Unreal.
That was a podcast. Guys, how good was that podcast?
The open mat section is, I feel like just coming onto this podcast just to talk about the open mat and just be like, fuck, we could have done
the breakdown of a breakdown.
Aye. Could have done another couple hours there easy.
It was his mindset, but we're finding that with all these guys. All these guys have a very similar mindset.
Do you know? I'm trying to put my hand on try to put my finger on what is this thing? There seems to be factors, and all of them get to a point where they go, I'm not doing this shit like this anymore.
There is a massive factor that the guys who spoke to, the area.
Aye.
There has to be a bit of deprivation in your area.
Do you think it's essential though?
I think it is.
Right.
From looking at and speaking to these guys and looking at like people from like, why did the Brazilians do so well? Why do the Mexicans do so well? Why do these areas that are very under nutritioned, under funded,
and fucking flat out dangerous?
They all seem to produce some of the best fighters in the world.
Well, like Pereira, there's fucking that part of the world. And how are you meant to compete with a guy growing up in?
Think about the Russians.
Aye.
Think about the Dagestanis. They're all coming from
short resources,
really hard backgrounds, and it builds character. So if you want to be a champion and you're staying in a 5-bedroom detached house, then sell it, go and stay in a shack somewhere, and dig holes.
Live in a tent.
Take mushrooms. Take mushrooms, dig holes.
Greyfriars Cemetery, live up there with the junkies of Edinburgh. Right. Fucking toughen yourself up a bit, loser.
You get a couple of junkies, we go up to fucking Edinburgh, get a couple of junkies, train them up, 6 months, couple of world champions.
Promise not to shag them.
But that's the thing, because they're already stealing the good meat, so they're high protein. They're already cut as much weight as they can. They're like, listen, big man, we need you to cut 10 kg. And the guy's like, cool,
I'm on
that's
it.
easy, mate.
Is that
That's
it?
easy, aye.
I'd get doing one lower than that. I'll go all the way down to flyweight if you need me to, like.
Just these big skinny junkies just getting fucking the UFC.
How did they dodge the drug testing?
I don't know if
Come on,
I don't
bro.
know if heroin's
It's not
banned.
performance enhanced.
I don't think heroin's banned.
Man likes to just unwind after a tough sparring session, eh? Man likes to just
Smoke a
melt on his
couple
couch. Oh,
So I get an email from the drug enforcement people, so like Jeff Nowitzki, and there is a tolerance in New York City for THC, which is a psychoactive ingredient in marijuana. And it's like, I don't know what the number is. I'm going to say like 150 fucking gigawatts. I don't know what it is, but it's like a number. And
gigawatts.
and if you've got that in your system, then you'll fail a drugs test. And the same if you have painkillers fight week, banned in New York City.
They also have their own anti-doping commission, New York.
Do they?
That's. Did I mention this before? That's who got Dillashaw with the EPO.
That's right, you
Aye, they've got their own one. So how mental is it that you could obviously submit to the UFC testing, but also New York State might go, oh, by the way, mate, and fucking boom, we want more. I don't know, and mate, you might be a good candidate for it. An out-of-country fighter. Mm-hmm. They might just think like, what testing do they do in Scotland? So I don't know. Might be one you've got to be ready for. I fucking hope no. Just get left alone.
I don't need to worry about any of my
No, of
tests.
course. That's not what I'm saying. It's just the inconvenience of...
It's obviously the recreational of fucking...
You still unwinding?
Aye, unwinding's good, man.
You don't need to tell me.
I think it's just, I enjoy watching films.
Aye.
They make films so much better. I enjoy hanging about with my daughter. Like, she geezes a lot of shit. Like, like just listening to her, I'm thinking like, she's funny. This guy's funny.
I'm suspicious my son is maybe having an edible.
You think so?
I think it's definitely... I don't know, I can just tell by the way he's talking and joking about things. And I thought to myself...
I follow Eddie, man, would fucking fry him.
Oh, aye, but he's quite a fried wee guy anyway.
Surely no, he's what,
He's... Aye. That's fucking 13. Homies be smoking that shit back in those days, bruh.
Aye, back in the day.
Aye. Mate, Kenny reminds me, Craig, exactly like him. You're just like an older version of my son, eh? He's exactly the same as you, just cuts about, hat on everywhere. This is his thing when he streams, right? I'm like, why you always got a hat on when you're streaming? He's like, because I didn't want the headphones to dent my head. I'm like, that's heavy fried talk.
That is a thing, by the way.
Is it? Fuck, mate.
Pull it up. I
Pull
bet
that
you there's
shit up,
mad
Craig.
gamers, right, that have got big fucking dents in their head.
No.
Nah.
I'm telling you right now.
Come on.
Mate, we do MMA. We've got dents in our head.
Oh,
Nah,
shit.
that's not real.
mate.
Fuck off.
That's why the ones you just need to blow. Put your thumb in your mouth and blow.
Aye.
Wow.
I'm not buying that. Look at that guy.
I'll take an apology after both of you.
Yep.
Mate, that's not real because you brought up on Google. That makes it true.
Go down there. There was a black guy with half his forehead missing.
Now, if that was a
Keep
white
going
guy
down.
with half his forehead missing,
I'd have said the white guy. So click on that. That's some headphones he's got.
he's been
Aye,
blown
that's
up
no
or
heat.
something. He's been fucking... He's been in a serious car accident.
He's doing something wrong
Who
anyway.
would you phone if you were involved in a car accident? When you just
G4
mentioned that.
claims.
Well, if you've been involved in a non-fault accident and you're looking for support, then why not hit up G4 claims? Also, if you've been involved in a bus accident, you're not driving, you're just a passenger, you can hit them up. And never forget, a taxi driver as well. You've been involved in any sort of accident, G4 claims has got your back. Ross, give me the vital numbers.
01698 767 172. And it's not at faultclaim.com. You can also get them at WhatsApp and the link in the description.
Hey, we've got your back. G4's got your back. Just call the number if you're involved in an accident. Don't message me and be like, I wish I'd just called them. Just do it right now. Go and start an accident and then phone them. Get all that money.
So what?
Get that forehead.
What do you think is a sensible age to just say, look, me and you'll have this edible right now to your son? How old do you think they've got to be? I'm not saying I'm going to do this just as a disclaimer. I'm just saying,
I think he probably has to experience sex first. How about that? I think that's a fair number.
Nah, edible's better than a ride. Like,
No, what I'm saying is, that's an age where, like, sex, maybe some eddies with your dad, that should be the rule. Not in the same night, mate. I'm saying, like, the age of sex for a minor. What is it? What's that, 16 or something?
you watched the Menendez brothers?
But sometimes it's forced upon them.
Have you
What I'm
watched
saying
it?
is-
You don't watch it? You watched
No,
it?
I can't watch it because I don't want to see rape.
Well, you might not see it. That's all I'm going to say.
So
It's up for debate.
what I'm saying is, if you're going to have a wee steady Eddie, I would suggest that he's partaking in all of life's delicacies before you're fucking hitting with the Eddie. I didn't mean like, let's get fucking him high and get his hole. That is not what I'm saying.
Get him fucking some hookers up here.
May as well just give him cocaine as well.
Get some hoes up to this house. I was older.
Don't take parenting advice from either of us.
Maybe you should. Somebody actually put that in my question. See my Q&A. They were like, "Oh, I'd love to hear you talking more about fatherhood on the podcast." And I thought,
your wishes are commanded.
I'm gonna give that an actual thoughtful answer.
So I'm at a point where, because my daughter's obviously 18, my oldest.
A full woman, eh?
Aye. So
That's fucking wild.
if she comes in and says to me, "Dad, listen, I'm wanting to get a wee fucking Eddie Fleming," what should I do?
Can I do nothing? It's an adult.
In theory, I can't do nothing, but she's
But you
still
could,
my child.
You own her. What? You do?
No, you don't own MD, man. This ain't fucking America.
Aye, but, well,
Um,
who's your dog belong to?
that's a dog.
We've done this one before, I feel like I've done this before.
So
Anyway, all right, sorry.
how do I inform this girl that, truthfully, like, well,
Can I say fuck all, because you do it?
but I'm doing it as an adult. I didn't do it as a minor. Because she's still a minor. She's still 18. So do I just go like, listen, under my roof, we don't smoke weed unless you're over 30.
It is a tough one. I've got, I don't want to say who because it'll give away who it is clear as fuck, but he's going through the same thing with a daughter of a similar age and he thinks she's out partying and taking the Charlie and that, and he's like, what the fuck? He does it. He's like, fuck, what did I do? He's been like a hard partier his whole life. It's no a secret. And he's like, oh,
I guess if he's a hard partier, it's not like I'm putting it out. I take drugs all the time. It's not like I've got a podcast and I talk about it.
Aye, you're no like Jay and Silent Bob, eh? You're no like a pothead.
Because you've got a young girl, and obviously she's a fair age for taking drugs at 18. What would your advice be?
Well, I think it'll be slightly different for me because she's maybe not seen it much because I don't drink anymore. So she might grow up just thinking it's normal, hopefully.
Normal what? To not.
Or
Do you not drink and take drugs?
but then obviously,
But it's normal.
But what if that's flipped?
Aye, in Scotland.
What if that's flipped and she's like,
My dad isn't it. I'm going to...
I'm doubling down.
My honest answer to that is I don't know, and it kind of worries me a wee bit.
It's hard, eh?
Think about
Because
it.
you're winging it. You're winging it. Like there's no a hard and fast answer.
There isn't a book to say,
Aye.
because what my parents said was it was zero tolerance. Like
Aye.
all drugs were bad. Doesn't matter what it was. If it was alcohol, it was smoking. But then they done it all themselves. No, the drugs, but they smoked and they drank. And I'm like,
Oh, my mum was out her bin on prescription pills 24/7, and because the doctor gave you them, that was cool. Just you weren't supposed to drink 5 bottles of wine a day, but we did that day, yeah. So it's like it's such a hypocritical generation. They just talk shit. At least we are saying like, look, all right, probably shouldn't do it, but human beings have been getting out their nut for as long as there's been human beings. Like
Aye.
fucking apes do it, mate. You seen the ones with the apes burying the fruit so that it fucking ferments and then they eat it and they're all falling about and that.
the best one is the dolphins. The dolphins getting high off pufferfish. Have you seen this?
No.
Dolphins get high. The pufferfish.
Gary Thompson gets a couple of pufferfish for a watch along or something. Interacting.
So
Wow.
they poke them and they end up eating them and eating their poison so they can get high.
That's quality.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Everybody's just chasing that dunt, even dolphins.
Cheap dopamine, bro.
But aye, so what probably my advice would be, I don't think you're at the age to be experiencing it, but in my opinion, I've had some really good experiences with taking marijuana.
Do you think, would you rather she'd done edibles or bevied a lot? If you had to pick one. Drink's worse. I can't, there's no one will ever convince me that alcohol.
I know drink's much worse, but I think it would be drink because it's sociably acceptable.
I know.
And that's why. It's not because I think it's much better. I think it's much more toxic. I think people end up in much worse situations. But it's publicly accepted to drink at the age of, what age is alcohol? 18?
18, aye.
So, and she does. She has been on holiday with us and she's had a drink, and we've been responsible parents and saying like, right, aye, she's absolutely fine. She's not getting out of control. Fucking tough being a parent.
I let the wee man have a wee beer in Turkey, like.
Aye.
I'm like, what do you think of that? You want a beer? Like, aye, all right. Tried it. He was like, it's fucking minging.
I know, but then there's a point where it's like, that's actually all right.
Aye, I know.
Craig, do you partake in beer?
You're a beer guy?
It's actually weird you say that. I did not enjoy beer until your wedding.
Aye.
Like that first one I had, I was like, this is fucking good.
Beer's an old guy thing now, eh?
Aye.
Old guys.
That was your first beer?
It's not the first one, but it's the first one I enjoyed.
Aye. It's just, I guess it's like anything, you mature, you enjoy red wine, you get a little bit better.
Do you drink a wine?
I do like a red wine.
It's no something I could see myself getting in it.
A glass of wine. I'm not talking about fucking getting tagged up and fucking smashing bottles after
A
the walk.
bottle of red wine.
Aye.
I'm trying to think what I'm doing in the morning because I might get, oh fuck, I've got work tonight actually, I think.
Hey.
Oh, I do too. Fuck it.
Bottle of red wine. There's a bottle of whiskey right here.
One of my staff was 100% pissed on Saturday night, like 100%. They walked past and I spoke to them and I was like, oh, go and sit in your motor for a wee bit. What do I do? I just told them to go and chill out in their car for a wee bit.
Is this one of your shite staff you're talking about, or is this one of your good staff?
I nearly said, this person could be better.
Well, 1 minute. He's coming to work drunk. Of course he can be better.
We've all done it, eh?
I don't think I've ever been in work drunk.
Nah, never. Even when you were like a younger, you ever...
You're right. See, when you'd been at Bevy
the night before.
You definitely come into...
Your current job wouldn't be too good if you were
No.
You can't go to that one pissed.
I worked in McDonald's as a teen, and
that's got to be full, eh?
Many a fucking Sunday or Saturday morning you'd be in there honking a booze.
When I first...
Packs of chewing gum in your mouth.
When I first started on the doors, like bar staff being pissed was really normal. Felt like normal.
Are bar staff not allowed to have a drink with you anymore?
Nah, they definitely do still do it. We had a barman got fucking, the manager actually asked security to come and like put
Was
him
he gutted?
Steam it.
Right, I get it. Like, see if you're having a couple of beers with like, oh, that's a one for yourself, son.
Well, that used to be the thing. Like, so they would get it would be like the Apple VKs at the time. So geese 4 Apple VKs. If I can drink my 2 quicker than you drink your 2, you pay for the 4 of them. That was quite a common like bar game almost. And
well, of course, your fucking barman's going to get
barman's always fucking tanning them in 2 seconds, and you're buying all 4, eh? So, and you used to get guys date for the girls and stuff as well, like buy the girls a shot type of thing. That would be, but now I've probably no seen a member of bar staff openly drink for a long time.
When we were in Vegas, remember the bar girl was having her shots with us? Remember the wee Mexican guy?
I wasn't in any bars in Vegas, like.
So we were at a pool party. And
I know what you mean.
The guy was buying tequila, so he was just like, one for yourself. She's like, one of the good ones, and he's like, aye. So
what was that? That Don Julio. It's Don Julio, eh?
We'll get a wee bottle in here.
That's fucking
rough
stuff.
But he was having a wee nip with the barmaid.
It just used to be so common, eh? Like drinking was so, and now. Nah, it's just a no way. Like even when you think about, you used to go to restaurants for something to eat. There's people in there just all bevy. Now you didn't really
having a glass of wine.
Now you didn't see it, eh? Because it's zero tolerance with the drink driving and everything like that. So anyway, I think what we're going back to there is, I probably prefer my son didn't tan the edibles.
Aye,
but
of course.
I'd rather the edibles than a bottle of Buckfast. 13, I was hitting the wine for sure. Aye.
What had you taken up to the age of 13? What were you hitting?
I'm going to feel like a pure piece of shit when I say this. So I had started taking stronger drugs. Speed was like mega prevalent in my area. and I had definitely used it by the time I was 14. I don't know about 13, but I'd smoked grass, or it was fucking back when everyone smoked the soap bar.
It was
Back in the days. Aye.
Solid.
So I drank, I'd smoked a bit of that, and I probably dabbled with the speed. But again, it was so common where I grew up. Speed, like, it wasn't a big deal.
No,
No,
that's wild.
it's fucking horrible.
So I had,
like, it's minging.
So my pals were more like the in-betweeners.
Oh, really?
Aye.
I hope my son is like them.
Like, well, you've obviously got to meet like Jim, Gary, and I remember the first time that they smoked like weed. We were down the Glen.
Good bit for it.
They went down there. They had like maybe a joint between like 4 of them, and they all took a hit. And I'm thinking like, "You want that?" And I was like, "No." And at that age, I did not touch it.
Aye. You were much older.
Aye. And I was like, "No, that's fucking against the law." And they smoked it, and then they went to. There used to be this place up at like it was a park, and the gypsies used to roll in with their fun fair. And they went on the right, and like, they looked like they had a fucking ball. I had a good time, but they looked like they had a better time. And that was my first experience of seeing people take drugs. And then obviously Gary had his own place basically. Him and his dad just shared when I say shared a house, it was his dad's house and he stayed there.
He lived to his own man.
Like shared the house like two of my flatmates. But his dad was cool, so Gary used to get high. And
what would Gary's dad's advice be on what age can you give your son headphones?
Well, need to talk to him. But we had some good memories.
Aye.
But then we used to go when we were about 18. One of our friends had a house, a flat. Gary Thompson was loving that as well. And then they used to get high as well. They used to have a red light in their living room, like a light bulb, and the only light bulb they could find in the house was bright red.
It was just a den.
Pretty much
den,
was.
Sounds like a den.
Flick on the lights, man, and it was like fucking bright red. There was posters stuck to the walls. There was loads of drugs going
Irvin
on.
Welsh would call that a shooting gallery.
And we, and even then, even when they were all smoking, man, never touched that shit.
Nah.
No, even, I probably get high passively, but
second hand.
That's some pretty serious willpower.
I know. Like, I never ever touched it. Never ever thought I needed it. And even drinking, like, I remember being like, probably about, I was young when I get drunk, and it was like proper cider. It was fucking disgusting. And I put like black currant juice in it to try and make it taste less shitty. Ended up, it was like white lightning or some shit like that. Woke up the next morning, heat was pounding.
All I see the young team drinking now is Buckfast and Four Loco.
Kids don't have to drink the cheap ass alcohol that we did.
Or Dragon Soups. I see them with the Dragon Soups, but
They buy the good stuff.
I bought a couple of young guys some Dragon Soups, and the fucking wee guy in the shop was like, "These aren't for you, mate." I was like, "Aye, they are."
You're like 34. These aren't for you.
I was like, "They are." He was like, "Nah, you've never come in here and bought these once." And I was like, "I'm telling you, they're for me." And he just fucking handed them to these wee boys.
Do you think it's a good thing that these wee guys get?
Aye, and I'll tell you why, because I believed their story. So they came up and they already had a bottle of Buckfast, and they went, we're meeting some lassies, and we told them we would get drinks for them, and the guy in the shop will no serve us the Dragon Soups. I went, "Well, how did you get the Buckfast?" And he was like, "I already had that in the house." And I was like, "What age are you?" He went, "Well, we're 16. And I was like, "Probably no, but who am I to stop them getting a ride?" Do you know what I mean? If they go up there and they've no got the Dragon Soups, they're definitely no getting a ride.
Here's playing devil's advocate with you. You've got a daughter.
Aye, but she's not going to hang about with fucking wine drinking losers.
Well, I don't know, mate. You know, you never know what happens.
No.
She's what, maybe about 10 years away? 10 years away for that madness?
I hope no.
And I know.
Oh, see if I find some fucking wee guy in the house with a bottle of wine, he just the only person getting shagged will be him.
Listen,
mate. I'll have him doing and shagging.
I've got 6 years. 6 years. My youngest will be.
What's the legalities of you saying you went in the shop?
Fuck, mate. Like I care. I'm already in enough trouble. Do you know what I mean? Add it to my
I
other
don't
one.
give a fuck. I'm just thinking about you, mate.
Nah,
Well, the boy in the shop knew.
Fuck it. We'll visit you.
Aye, fucking Big Mo knew what I was doing.
Big
Mo's some boy.
Podcast. How many hours a week do you get on the internet? You can just do a live stream.
I can just be like, all right.
I watched the programme on Berlini. They're shutting Berlini down.
Fucking good. The place is a dungeon.
They're
mate.
opening up like a super jail. They call it super jail.
Are you in favour of the Is it punishment or is it rehabilitation?
So they go into parts in the documentary. It was like a 3-parter on BBC. It was growing up in the 80s and 90s. You can see it's nostalgic, and obviously not going to jail. It's nostalgic for me, but like the whole life of these guys are going into jail for crimes. There's drug abuse getting brought in, and then it goes right up to like spice, for heroin to spice to everything else in between, and they then start working these like
Spice is mad, eh?
I've not got enough information in it, but if you're watching that, and I'm like, it's fucking wild.
Right.
Guys just losing time, and these guys are quite a few of the guys were in jail at the moment, and when they're out of jail, they can stay off it. But when they're in jail, they're like, fuck it, I'm just going to like
Just try and pass the time.
I'll just get spiced out my tits. But then it's that kind of thing where whose fault's that you've been put in jail? You've done something to get yourself in there. And I get that it's hard to be a part of society and conform with all the rules if you've grown up in an environment where following the rules is not acceptable.
I partially agree.
It's hard to follow rules if you've never followed them and you've not been given good moral
There is people
guidelines.
who aren't suitable to be in wider society, but the parameters of it are changing all the time anyway. So, like, I'm certain there'll be lots of people who think we aren't suitable members of society. Loads, in fact. Some of the opinions I hold, I know that people didn't think that they are appropriate, but in the time we grew up, it was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Like, some of the stuff I see now is just fucking mind-boggling. I watched one about, you seen the stuff with these, like, pensioners sharing that anti-migrant stuff and getting sent to prison. So they
pensioners?
Aye, mate, they're pensioners. So they've been sent to prison for like a month, got released, and then just done it again. And they've been and just didn't give a fuck, eh? Just like, well, who cares? So I don't know. The whole rehabilitation and the punishment thing, I think it's a load of shit.
How would you deal with
there's obviously
offending criminals?
There's violent, like when you're violent to other members of society who didn't deserve it, then you're fucking bad.
Here's a plain devil's advocate. You know, I love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, not all the time, violence is needed.
Aye.
Sometimes you get some pricks out there who need a good
I try and explain this to my
fist
son
to the mouth.
because he's getting this. He thinks he's a wee bit of a guy now, eh? And I'm like, do you understand, buddy? There's people out there, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. Like, rather than take a loss to you, they will pull a blade. They will fucking set about you with their pals. They didn't give a fuck. And the threat of prison, couldn't care. Makes no difference. So you do have to, those people, they are dangerous because they just couldn't give a fuck. Being in prison makes no, I know loads of guys I went to school with, just revolving door prisoners. That's all they are. Anu. You could lock them up for wouldn't care. Makes no difference to them where they live. They don't care if they live inside the walls or outside the walls. So you're always going to have to deal with these type of people. And it's the fact that, like, especially in Scotland, we just didn't really give a fuck about these people, eh? And I think the attitude where, like, well, they're no in there for breaking windows. That's no working. It's not worked.
So you don't think the jail system works?
Nah, I think it's shite. I think it's fine for people who are very, very dangerous and intent to kill people. But the rehabilitation part of it has failed completely. So now all they really are is dungeons.
So they basically get them to a point where they've done their time, they get back out and they get straight back in.
So what's like, well, just keep them in then, because that's what you obviously wanted.
But then it costs money to keep people in jail.
Nah, I think
How much does it cost to keep a prisoner in jail for a year? And then it's fronted by tax dollars. So
but I think they'll
if
go
you're
down
just keeping people in jail,
82.5.
22, a young offender is 82.5.
That's a lot.
Do you know, I think they also just go in there and network with a whole other load of criminals and come back out with a bigger network?
And also,
I thought about this and I was thinking, like, could I do a stint in jail? And I went,
aye.
I probably couldn't do it in general population. I think that would not be a good, because you would be in a situation where boredom would kick in. And what do you do if you're a fighter and you're in a place where you're bored? What are you going to do?
Fall out with cunts.
You're going to fall out with people and then you're going to start fucking battering folks, and you're going to end up with more time added to your sentence. Whereas if you put me in like solitary confinement, I think I'd be fine in there, just blasting out chin-ups, push-ups, squats. I'd be super fit. And then eating that fucking jail diet, I'd be shredded.
Make middleweight, no bother.
Aye, I'd come out looking brilliant. But put me in the way everybody else, and there's a good chance that days where I'm just like pent up aggression, shit would go sideways for me. And I'm not saying that I would win, but I'd fucking take a right good stab at trying.
You would win. Like, jail's just full of junkies.
Aye,
That's all that's there, mate.
but beating a junkie it would be how many can I beat? How many guys do you think I can take on before I get overpowered? This is the thing I like. So see if I'm like maybe high, I'll think about this. Like how many
junkies, to be fair?
How many people do you think you could batter?
So what's the number that you came up with?
Depends who it is. How many Wayne Rooneys? I think I could fight 2 Wayne Rooneys and win. Because the point is,
Free.
At what point would they overpower you? No, I'm being like, I think 3 Wayne Rooneys is just a wee bit too much.
Because one would get behind you.
Aye, I just think it's too much. But 2 Wayne Rooneys, aye. How many Gary Linekers? Probably about 5.
Aye.
I was watching Match of the Day when this was going.
I was literally just about to ask why Wayne Rooney and Gary Lineker.
So I'll watch people in the news and like, how many, like, were we talking about this with Toll?
How many Nico Carrillos
I was talking about this.
could fend off 3 Gary Linekers and 3 Wayne Rooneys?
Right, we'll get some right good numbers haven't you? I was talking about this with Toll at the Hamilton races, and I was like, how many seagulls do you think you could batter? Like, and it's just these kind of stupid shit that comes in my head, and I'm like, how many of these guys? So when I'm in jail, I'm like, right, it's a Tuesday. I've had my porridge, I'm full. How many junkies do you think I could batter? And
I
then
don't know,
like,
what's your number like?
I don't know, junkies, I'm probably like somewhere in them reckon a 6.
In a cell?
6, aye. Like, give me something against my back.
You'd be alright.
6. Like, I'm no caring about getting AIDS. Got AIDS, I'm in jail. I'm beefing the junkies. Put me back against the jail. There's a fucking door. I'm taking on as many as I can.
Just keep piling them in. My cardio's good.
I'm full of jail parties. Let's go.
Send in another 2.
But that's what this is what I'm thinking about. Like, so how many of a number could you batter? Like, just pick something and be like, right, how many?
I'm just imagining the scene. See Bronson,
yes.
where he's like getting all prepped to take on these officers, but
oils
he's
his cell up and that.
frail junkies.
Well, even officers, imagine that as well. Like, how many of these guys, like, because there's times where you're walking down the street and you're like, there's a police officer and you're stopping shit.
Screws used to be big units, like, and see now they're no. I used to go to a gym over in Fife, and there was loads of screws for Perth prison trained in it, and they were fucking monsters, eh?
How many? Do you think you could take a taser?
Aye, 100%. With clothes on, so long as it doesn't hit your bare skin, you'll be absolutely fine.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, see if I get tased, I think I could. Like, fuck. These are the shit. This is the shit.
Because it doesn't make good connection, eh? I've seen it done to people when they've got jackets, bigger jackets, and that one. They're fine.
Why don't we let somebody dictate the live show?
It's the spray that fucks you. Spray fucks you, like.
Did you see there's a YouTube video or it's like social media and the guys, and it's like the 2 cops that are trying to take down this big unit. They've sprayed him in the eyes and they're fucking battling his legs and he's just walking. And they're like, lie down! Boof, boof. And it's making no difference to this guy's life. This guy's like...
The police will be like some fucking 19-year-old lassie.
I think it's like a...
Or a morbidly obese guy.
I think it's like a...
The taste like JD guy. He's funny.
That tastes like JD. That tastes like JD. I was just...
Like, these are 2 guys that are being overpowered by a fat fucking guy that have tased. Or maced, sorry.
I know.
Stop
wrestling
your man Hingy was on it. Hawaii 5-0 was on that fucking jail programme.
Oh, well, he was locked up there. He was locked up in Berlin, yeah.
What was he locked up for?
I don't know what he was locked up for.
Madness, no doubt.
he well, to be fair, he's a repeat. He was. That's what would be fair to say. He was an in and out guy. Mate, he shares the same opinion. Dungeon. It's no, they've not got money to make people better, send them to prison. Like, no, send you to prison, make you better. The fucking places are shitholes. They've got rats running about on the wings.
And if I was in jail, solitary confinement, I think I'd get better. Tell me, man, just pull-ups all day. Just
Wouldn't he? Get worse.
I don't think so.
Would.
Squats, sit-ups.
Who'd be your pals?
I don't need pals.
You'll 100% have to have some sort of human contact, and
No.
it would be like some cunt like me.
No.
And then you'd be like, mate, this guy said this, and we'll be like, right, let's smoke him.
That's why I can't be in general population.
Because
Because I'd be like, I'd become a part of a gang. Probably not the same gang that Ross would be part of, but I would be part of a gang.
Edward Norton earlier.
Aye.
it hurts my
I'd
feelings.
be like, where's the
You be
Jews
good
at?
now.
Where's the Jews at? Where's the Jews at? Let's go for it.
They're not in jail, mate. They're the ones who put everyone in jail. Times have changed.
This podcast's taking a bit of a turn. Is this the Patreon? Aye.
No.
Nah, this is
the main
our-
episode.
This
so
is main ep.
Is this main episode?
Aye.
I don't know if you maybe want to talk about MMA or not. It's up to you. I'm not really going to fuck.
We've been.
Aye.
I think we've been pushing a lot with this MMA market. We've been talking about it.
Is there any fights that are coming up? Like,
No, we had. Is it? What was the guy's name? No, the weekend. Weekend's card, Craigie Boy.
mate, I can't believe how tall that Pereira is. Mind
Michel Pereira.
We seen him in the PI. I
Aye.
could not believe how fucking tall he was.
There's obviously this Apex card, but there's the PFL.
Can we get to the last week?
Oh, aye, I forgot about him.
We had last week's UFC. Remember, it was like
Rab
the wee,
Font.
the wee fellies. The wee fellies were going to town on each other. It was good. See what I watched.
I don't know if I even watched it.
This one.
Oh, I did
Roy
watch
Val
it, actually.
versus Tyra.
Aye.
Tyra. Good fight.
Aye, I'm sure I did watch this. I did watch it.
I think it was 2 each getting into the final round. Your man Tyra was like unbeaten in like 16 fights. Like he was in a tear, wasn't he? I think he got a wee bit emotional when Roy Val got the victory.
2 splits there I'm seeing as well, in co-main and main.
So the first round was all Brandon, great, like just working that distance, pinging him. And in the second round, Tyra came in, took him down, body triangled him and just rode him for the whole round.
You 10-8 in that?
No, I think he'd done enough. I don't think it was like it wasn't just him stuck there and couldn't move. He was working. Third round comes out and it's pretty much the same as the first round. Brandon does the same again, pings him, uses his distance. Jab was beautiful. Loads of grappling exchanges because they was looking for that takedown again, Tyra. Fourth round, same again. Body triangle, basically rides him. Good, like it's 2 each getting into the final. That fifth round.
That's what you want though, eh?
And I think Roy Val's coach was like, don't let him take it back. If he takes it back, we can lose this round just on position. And he'd done everything to stop him from taking that back. It was great scrambling. For a jiu-jitsu guy watching this, I was like, fucking brilliant. Great fight.
Do you think it went the right way?
I do, aye, definitely.
That must be devastating to lose a split decision. Like one of the judges think you won it.
I think that Roy Val guy's like the number 1 contender, am I right? So, aye, there you go. To lose to the number 1 contender as your first loss, isn't it that bad?
No. And it's not like he's went out and fucking...
It's these Apex cards, sometimes they'll
Sleepers, eh?
Aye, they'll catch you. And I didn't watch any of the other fights because I was like, did you watch Rodriguez? Nah. I seen he get a victory.
Another split. What the fuck was I doing on Saturday?
Don't know, but I did watch some of the lower prelim stuff.
Uzbekistan.
I liked your man Tafa versus Shafra. Is that Shafra? He was, I think he came in at like a late replacement and he nearly had it 1. Shafra. Is it Shafra? Sharaf. He won. It looked like he was going to win the first round.
Some others on him, like.
Aye. But your man Junior Tafa, he's trying to go to light heavyweight.
Oh, really?
And they keep offering him these fights at heavyweight.
He just takes them.
And he just keeps taking them.
Can't
I
blame him,
watched your lassie, your Welsh girl, McKenna.
Corey McKenna. Another split.
She just didn't have she was just short with everything. Striking wasn't great. Your lassie Polsteri, what's her name? Polster?
Julia.
Polastri.
I had butchered every cunt's name. Polastri was using good cage control, was holding her against it and getting the victory through good grappling. Your lassie McKenna she's part of Team Alpha Male, so she had like, what's that guy called? Uriah Faber in her corner.
Oh, really?
Aye, so she's comes through like a half decent gym. Go down
California.
and I think that's all I watched on that.
I need to start watching this UFC.
It was on because I remember putting it in the chat. I couldn't find it on the actual TNT.
Aye, I couldn't find it either.
It was, you had to scroll halfway down the page to get it. Like, they weren't pushing it. But I was presently surprised with the main event. Pleasantly. What the fuck am I up to today, man?
Did you do this on purpose?
I don't know. I think it's brain damage, mate. But the main event, Royval versus Tyra, the wee Japanese guy. Great fight for any fight fan. Possibly one of the contender of fight of the year. So that was my breakdown of. I'm calling that a breakdown of. I
feel informed.
You want to have a look at the PFL card?
The PFL's a biggie. We've got Francis Ngannou
versus the other massive guy.
What's his name?
Ferreira.
Have you seen him doing this backflip fucking thing?
It's a big guy, is it?
Have you seen this? He can do like a one-leg backflip twist thing. Wait, see this. This is impressive.
Amen.
I don't know what he calls it.
PFL's TikTok.
Check out this.
Fucking hell.
Yes. Now that is a heavyweight.
And this is his thing.
That is an explosive heavyweight.
That's wild. What happens here if Francis doesn't win?
Dana White goes like this. Because that's what Dana wants. Dana wants to have the best best heavyweight division, and the only guy who's a question is Ngannou. Is Ngannou the best heavyweight ever in the sport? We don't know.
Do you know what? That was a fucking terrible knockout for Anthony Joshua in this fight.
Do you think he comes back too early?
Yes, 100%.
He's also, am I right in saying he's also got the issue with his child just passed away?
Yeah.
That's a lot of baggage to be dealing with. So I hope that he's got like a good psychologist. I hope he's got all that kind of stuff to deal with.
Oh fuck, aye.
I was listening to him on Helwani's show yesterday, and he sounded like he was in a pretty good place. So.
Pretty good place. But then it's easy to
pull yourself together for 20 minutes in an interview.
So I hope
he is too. I wouldn't be like.
So
I'd just fucking tie 2 knives to my hands and just go down the high street or something like that.
Who's your man Ferreira?
Yeah.
Who's he fought?
I think his last fight was a big one.
He beat Bader.
He knocked out Ryan Bader.
Quite badly, eh?
Aye.
But then is Bader the young up and coming guy that he was?
No.
I'm no shitting on him.
No.
I don't shit on him day, but I'm going to shit on somebody right fucking now, and he's making eye contact with me.
Aye,
Greg,
you've picked a bad moment for that, mate.
Boys, I've not ate since this morning, so
that must be tough for you, bro.
Aye.
To the listeners, I actually do a lot of work in here.
What you actually eating? It smells
I'm
fucking
eating
delicious.
a gym box for Jim and Donna. And I apologise, Paul.
It
Ross,
smells magic.
I'm not apologising to you, but
What you got? Tell me what you got.
so it's a chicken doner. It's like a
Own it till
Cali
the
County
morrow.
box sort of thing. Back on the wagon, mate. Put on a few pounds.
What's the company? Because you've obviously got the
Get
meat.
some jalapenos, red onion, tomatoes. But aye, 10 out of 10.
Where's that for?
Jim and Donna. Cost me fucking 15 quid right enough. Just
Whereabouts is Jim and Donna?
It's one in Hamilton.
Right.
Didn't know they were known for doner in Germany.
You get a few German doner houses. There used to be a good one in Glasgow, but it shut down. It does smell good, mate.
Have you seen Chris Cyborg wearing the hijab when she was over in Saudi? Oh, it's funny as fuck.
In fairness to society, she probably should just wear one all the time. Because she's a fucking creature, man. Look at Nicky that thing, man.
I thought it was unusual.
What was it Dana White said about her? She looks like Vanderlei Silva with a dress and a wig on.
Aye, pretty much. She should get the full fucking burqa. You know, the one that covers the face.
Just
She might
she
do
get the
some
one
damage.
that's just mesh.
Aye,
Getting over
just
the
eyes.
just mesh.
Oh, so it's Cyborg
Sorry.
fighting against.
I
some
would though,
other-
by the way.
Would you?
Both of them.
Who's?
Tell you now.
Craig, what's that other lassie called before I butcher her name?
Checo.
That's Larissa Pacheco. She beat Kayla Harrison in one of her PFL fights with her.
Interesting.
Hmm.
What's her chromosome? What is it? X.
Mate, are you like fucking what's happened here? That's I tell you what, even I went, but mate, I like it. Continue. I'm in.
Oh.
I might say something in a minute. Who's that guy? Is that
Leon Edwards' brother. Do you think that's kind of shit that you're just known as Leon Edwards' brother?
wee brother?
Aye. Fabian Edwards is fighting for the title, for the middleweight world title. Battle of the Giants. And what a name of a card, eh? On yourself, PFL. That's a fucking doozy of a card.
AJ McKee's good. He says he gets too much money at Hingway now. That's
PFL?
why. Aye. That's why he couldn't go. UFC wouldn't he match it, so he just says he stays there. He's got good sponsorship deals and stuff like that as well. He says, eh?
You know,
He not been the champ there for a wee while.
we spoke about this. I don't think he's a champ, mate.
Aye, did he get beat?
Did he?
Aye.
Wrong guy to ask, really.
This is a absolute winner of a card, by the way.
Aye.
Standard Russian guy as well, like that.
I think he's English.
No, up.
Oh, that guy.
That guy's 100% for.
Nah, the guy on the right's definitely no Russian.
He's taking his time. That's like, see this kind of card that PFL's putting on? This is the one where people should be happy to pay
Aye.
pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Great card.
Mm-hmm.
And is this like PFL Bellator then? What's the...
So this is like the PFL's, they call it their super fight division, which is like what Ngannou will compete in. So this is like their elite best of the best. Like they're pulling champions for PFL, Bellator.
That boy is shredded, mate.
Where can you watch this?
It's on pay-per-view on DAZN, I believe.
It's I think for PFL, I think their issue is probably advertising.
Aye, it's
You
just
think-
no.
You think how well oiled a UFC is? Like with regards to
It's a media machine.
pushing the fights, it's like they're pushing next week's fights this week, and then it's like constant. If I was not linked to MMA, I would not know Francis Ngannou was fighting.
Aye.
I thought I knew more about Francis when he was boxing than when he's fighting this.
Yes.
And if I wasn't in the same circles, my social media algorithm wasn't pushing Ngannou, I would never have known he was fighting. But when you think about the UFC and how they push and all their algorithms, man, it's so much better. And I think that's what's holding PFL back.
But
Because it's certainly no talent.
No.
You think about,
They've got great fights.
aye?
Great fights. Undoubtedly, like Ngannou was for a while the face of the UFC. So there can't be any argument with them having star power because they've got it.
I remember like everybody's like, Ngannou's not going to fight again for the PFL. He's making too much money on being a boxer. Like made a fair bit of millions, and now we see him back. I'm glad to see him back, and I do hope he gets the victory.
Me too. Franco.
What's the stats of this big dude, man? He looks huge. Big Ferrari. 6'8". Fucking hell, man.
It's a little guy, eh? What's he been up to? KOs every cunt. Oh, he beat Maurice Green. He was in the UFC.
Mate, what a monster this guy is. And is this for a title? No.
That's mental. Look, he's had 2 no contests almost back to back there.
Why?
I don't know.
What's he done? Maybe elbows or something?
Fabricio overturned. Was that in the UFC?
PFL.
I wonder why it got overturned. Failed drug test, maybe, for Verdum. Let's see. Controversial. Oh,
Big punch in your keel.
oh, they fought.
So Verdum, it looks like Verdum submitted him and Ferreira tapped, but the referee missed it.
Ah.
And then he came out and started swinging.
And Keith Peterson's had a mad one again.
Was it Keith Peterson?
Aye. Said a couple of whiskies before it. Yeah. Man likes a bevy at his work. I'm down with it.
He's refed a few of my fights.
Aye. I like it. I think he's a good ref, mate.
I like his wee voice.
Aye.
He's like a wee guy if he's still game.
I thought it was very rude what Dominic Cruz said about him.
Stinking of fags in it.
Aye.
Or cigarettes, sorry.
Aye.
Can't see.
No fags in America. God damn it.
So PFL got it, man.
Star power for sure.
What a card.
Chris Cyborg is a star. She's famous. She's the most famous lady fighter for sure. Questions?
Yeah, we've got a couple more questions from listeners if you would like to answer them. We've got two of them.
Okay.
So first one is for Paul. It's from Ricky Graham. Just watched Paul's fight with Roundtree. I was wondering if they had some beef going into the fight. Roundtree seemed to be a right smart arse in the octagon.
I laughed at the second question. Sorry.
There was no beef from my end, but Khalil had built up in his head beef because I ended up speaking to Khalil like after it, not that night because that night I was dead, and that night I spent in the evening in hospital. He knocked me out and he stood over the top of me. I know this because I've seen the footage back. There was no beef in my end, and I think it was the stare off. I think that's where he believed there was a beef because I'd only maybe fought like 3 times in the UFC at this point. I think it was Enrique de Silva, Tyson Pedro, and then Khalil Roundtree. I'm obviously doing the whole face paint right into his face. He's seen that as me being aggressive towards him, and the guy hits like a train. I don't think I've ever been hit harder. Well, I don't know because I can't remember getting hit, but I do remember I remember taking a few shots for him and they were fucking sore. The guy,
do you not even mind it connecting that?
no, I can't.
Just like a prop, it was a full on
He took my soul.
power down.
Took my soul.
That's
took me in the
wild.
shadows. But I ended up speaking to him in London after it. Maybe like it would have been round about the time when I subbed Ankalaev, and then he was there as a fan. But he'd been touring like places like Thailand. That's when he came back with all this Thai. And I was like, oh, what are you doing out there? And I was asking him about drug tests and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, oh, it's really hard for them to drug test me out there. Because I'd said to him, I was like, oh, how are you finding? Because I think not long before that, they'd brought in like the new drug test. And we, for some reason, we get ended up talking about it. Maybe I was getting drug tested or something like that. And he's like, I have to, because he wasn't staying in one gym, he was constantly having to fill in his whereabouts. And I guess it's much harder to send out drug enforcement agencies to Thailand than it is to sending them to the back end of Glasgow.
For sure.
But no, I don't have any issues with him. What a fighter. Loved the fight between him and Potan. I thought it was like easily one of the best fights I've ever watched. Guy went out in his shield, and he was a smart ass in the octagon because he fucking flatlined me.
Good mate Greg's, I've heard through social media.
Aye, give him a wee text after it.
Mate, I'll never forgive you for that.
Said fuck Paul.
Second question comes from Gary William Thompson, first of his name.
That is the famous Gary.
So he says,
Mushroom gas.
Ask Paul if he's ever fly kicked a junkie.
Yes. You want to hear the story?
Yeah, please
It's a
elaborate.
Did you actually jump up and kick him?
We had been out to, me and my man GT, we used to go to the ABC, and we used to call him Gary Poking Thompson. He used to wear these poking boots, right? And he would like rock up into this place like some sort of Western guy, like fingers pointed in the air, like pow 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 pow. Guaranteed, Gary was doing a bit of shagging back in the day, right? Somebody was getting finger blasted after Gary Thompson, so we referred to him as Gary Poking Thompson.
He does look like he shags.
Right, there's a fair bit of the poking in the ABC. That was the chat back then. So it was this night we had been out. There was me, Gary, a guy called Stephen King who was taller than me, and there was a girl called Emma. So Emma was at the bank, and this girl comes up to the bank, and she's like, help me, my boyfriend. The boyfriend comes up and just goes, busts on the mouth, right? So I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So I pull the guy back. The guy goes into his sock, right? And like pulls out the only thing we can think is some sort of needle. And he's like, fucking come on then, right? So I'm like moving back, like fucking moving. So the guy, Gary Thompson obviously took no part in this like action. But his final kudos to this junkie was fucking tremendous, right? He's just like, fucking wasting my night, man. I'm
shagging to be then.
This lassie's getting our fucking fanny poked, right? So anyway, Stephen King comes to the guy. The guy turns round and goes to go to Stephen King. There's maybe like I'm talking like a 20-yard dash. So I hit a 20-yard dash and I fly through the air. Right? Fly through the air like some fucking Bruce Lee film. Fucking whoosh, fly kick this junkie, right? And as I hit the junkie in the chest, he hits the deck, but I go through him. So I keep going, and as I land on Sucky Hall Street, that's soaking wet, right? So I skate, and I just keep sliding. So before the guy hits the ground, Gary Thompson takes his poking boots and fucking rubs the boot into the guy's head. The guy hadn't even hit the ground yet, and Gary Thompson just goes, humph.
Finishes him off.
But it was like, finish him. Bump. So it was what a story.
Can't
like,
you have the cunt getting
fly
up?
kick a guy, full pelt, like 100 kg, me flying through the air, bust him in the chest, and Gary Thompson fucking rumps a burn his kisser.
Were you doing MMA at this time?
I wasn't, I was just a fucking social hand grenade.
Common street thug.
Aye.
I like it.
But it was a good night out. I'm pretty sure Gary did do the business to that lassie. So GT.
It's a fine night's work. Finished off a fucking defeated man and got a ride.
Thanks, sorry, boxes.
Aye.
What else would you want?
I've got a question for you, Ross.
Go on.
It isn't actually for any of the audience, right? But I just put it into ChatGPT. Give me a random question to ask on the podcast.
Right.
No, I don't know how, right? But I think this is actually.
See if this is some
you.
sort of fucking simulation.
Right, I swear to
related
God.
question.
No.
Mate.
Right, I swear to God, I've just put it in. Craig can verify. Right, and it's came up with what's a belief that you held strongly in the past that you've completely changed your mind about? And I think that's quite suited to you. I want to know. ChatGPT wants to know. So does the audience.
I'm trying to think of probably what would be the strongest belief I've held, and then I've just like 180'd it. Oh, I don't know. Nah, none really. I'm not sure why. I feel like you is there
no, I swear
some
to God,
sort
it
of
was just-
direction.
Have
on
you
that?
always disliked the Russians?
Aye. I dislike them as much now as ever I did.
Right.
Not Russian people,
Well,
but the Russian
you can have a
politics,
think about
aye.
it. You can maybe answer it on the bonus episode then.
I will think about that.
Are we moving
actually.
over to the bonus
Is
episode?
it time to go?
Guys, we've obviously not caught up with the Michelle Pereira up and coming event. We've also got what else we got? Mike Perry.
What's up with him?
So if you're looking for some
We've kind of switched it about this week.
strong opinions from Paul and Ross, why not join us on the Patreon? We've got loads of MMA news. We've obviously got the Bilal Muhammad versus *𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏 on. Was that good pronunciation?
I like that.
It was a good effort.
I think you should do that more.
I think you should make like a video just to all my mispronunciations.
Have you ever seen the highlights of Max Holloway doing that?
Just mispronunciation.
He's almost as bad as you.
Is he almost?
Almost.
Wow. So guys, if you're looking for some more names butchered, why not join us on the Patreon? And if you're not coming over, we'll catch you next week and keep it high.
Join the Patreon, mate. It's cheap. Just fucking stop being a peasant. Get involved, bruh.
I need another piss.